Good morning. It's wonderful to be meeting you again. It is here. It is just about 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. You know, the time most of us have had to get back to another week of work. But there we are, Monday morning. It's also early spring here. So the world, as well as having the feel of a Monday morning and the work coming on again, has a gentleness about it that we all desperately need to experience. A gentleness and a security that the spring will come, that life will begin to grow again. And so there we are. That is the setting for our meeting for our monthly reflection at the end of March. It should have been a little earlier, as you know. Walter worked hard to get one done about a recording made like this about 10 days ago, but we had technical problems and he was away from Austria, so he handed it over to our long-suffering and always welcome and willing Dieter. But Dieter's also had problems, and now let's hope that we do have the chance of meeting and sharing. For those of you who may be joining us by accident or by invitation of a friend, maybe joining us for the first time, we have been pausing together, taking time out from the day's journey, the hard work of going a spiritual way during our difficult human times. And we do it once a month. We take a theme to give us our focus, but our real purpose is not what we usually open our computers and our television screens for. We're not here for a lecture. We're certainly not here to gain a lot of information, no information gathering. We're here just to listen. To be reminded, first of all, to listen, that we need to listen more deeply. To become re-energized for the spiritual journey. Because our times are extremely difficult. Walking a straight and firm pathway forward, a spiritual pathway forward, is not easy at the moment. But every one of us who can try to walk a little will automatically be a great help to those who cannot find someone to help them. Listen deeply and re-energize. So no lecture, no information gathering. The value of watching this video lies entirely in your own effort for the next month. So what happened last month? Can you even remember the title of last month? Were any of your questions receiving an answer? What has your innermost experience deepened because of the work you did with last month's theme? All right, in which case you might like to go back and look at the themes of so far from September, the themes we have taken up each month. Now, if you were looking back just at the main themes in your own life of the last month, perhaps war would be a main theme, especially if you are living here somewhere in Europe, but not only in Europe. Just about anywhere in the world at the moment, what is happening in one part of Europe has global consequences, and we know it. war. The actual war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine, and the possibility of world war involving the whole of humanity on this planet. Possible. Can we stop it? Can we encourage it? These must be questions that have been going around in your minds and going around among you when you've been discussing, lamenting over the fact of the hatred, the poverty, the depression, that thousands and thousands of people are suffering at the moment in Europe because of the war that is going on there between Russia and Ukraine. But the possible war, that this may go beyond Europe, may become worldwide, may go beyond the conventional weapons, the shelling, the bombs, the guns, into atomic weapons, is really beating in the heart of everyone. What does it take to start this sort of situation? To create a situation of physical war with conventional weapons and the fear of an atomic war and total obliteration? Well, if we look at history and we look at the present situation, it looks as though it only takes one person, a selfish, a gifted, ambitious leader. That seems strange, but that is, if we look back in history, this is what we have found. Can we put the responsibility then on one person for the situation of war that we now have? Oh no. The fact that we can all turn to one ambitious and talented leader can hide us from the fact that we are all responsible, each one of us individually, for this war or for this peace, for misery and crime, or for love and growth and enjoyment. The role of media is something new. We've been through the situations of war and leadership and political ambition and greed and selfishness and brutality and all those things. We've been through them before, and often in the history of humanity. And some of you listening, like me, were a child in the last World War. Children. I see the children fleeing out of Hungary on the television screen. I'm sorry, not out of Hungary, but fleeing from their homes in the Ukraine, all over the place, all over Europe. And I remember something I hadn't thought of for a long time. The day I was evacuated at the age of 6 years of age, between 5.5 and 6, one morning going to school, we were just grabbed, put on a train. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know that we'd left our parents behind until we got into a strange place with strangers who took us off into their homes and then away. The only thing that seemed odd to me that morning, and I've seen it so often now on television, was going to school that morning, 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds. My mother insisted that I wore my best winter coat. It wasn't winter, and you didn't wear your best coat for the primary school or the nursery. Now when I see those children who are being evacuated, fleeing from the horrors of war in their own countries, I see exactly the same thing. So I have been through this, and many of you watching have also been through this. Why, after a whole lifetime, are we back there again? Bloodshed, greed, selfishness, desire to be important. There, the whole of history has seen leadership have these qualities, this power. Now, of course, we have more powerful weapons too. If we sit back for a moment and think of the little we know of what could happen if this became an atomic war, that we used atomic weapons to totally annihilate humanity. How do we face all this? Well, one of the things that is new in this particular phase of World War is the power of the media. We're using it now. It's given us access to even the most remote corners of our planet, but at the same time, it can confuse us terribly. We have a thing now called fake news. Which of the news channels do you believe? Which is accurate? Which is just being sensational? Which is based on a total absence of facts that have been verified? We know it's going on. This is something in the war that our youth are facing that perhaps others know. We certainly did not have to face. The power to create, the power to destroy, the power of the media, and our reliance on the media. Some of the headlines that we've just had tell us that now we are in a new era. We're moving towards consolidating as people. Europe could become one country. There is some noise in the background. I'm sorry about it. I don't know where it's coming from, but I hope it's not going to distract you too much. The headlines that I just mentioned, the new era, Europe, could we unite the whole Europe into one country? Could China do the same with another section of our planet? Are we truly, as China reminded us, only a global village? We're really only a global village, only a village with a village mentality. This is what planet Earth is, a little village in the cosmos. What is a call to wakefulness there is the suggestion that we have a village mentality and the power of being a global planet. You need a lot to choose about there and chew over. Now, I want to change the focus now of what our reflection is on. We've been looking very carefully, and all of us are doing, at the news headlines, the stop press that comes in, the information people are passing around us, and the pictures of war and destruction, and of public meetings where all the heads of states get together and declare solidarity, where one of our most wealthy neighbours, therefore powerful neighbours, the USA, has coming in to bail out the situation by selling us their gas supply, which they have in abundance, or they have as in excess rather, of what they need. And they have enough for us to buy from them what we ourselves need and don't have. Anyway, we know all this movement. It's going on. We see all this. We watch the fake news and the photographs on television, on the media. Now I want to ask you to change. It's the same theme, but a different approach. It would be good to try and search back in your memory during the next few days for some personal experience you might have had in your life that helped you to see the whole of the cosmos, the creation, my sense of being here and my purpose, to see it differently. When I was focusing on this theme myself, what came up immediately to me was an experience I had many years ago when I was traveling in various countries, just to share with people as we're doing here on television. And I was in Australia. I was on the south coast of Australia, the other way of Melbourne. And I had been invited and given the opportunity to go and meet a mother and son from an Aboriginal family. Aboriginals, the originals, the people who looked at the earth quite differently. And to accept the invitation of the mother to walk with herself and her son, through the woods and along the coast. The experience started a little unexpectedly because I had been told where to wait, standing on the shore, and I was waiting, as I thought, patiently and peacefully enough, until after a while I suddenly became aware that I was not alone. I hadn't heard anyone, I hadn't seen anyone. There'd been no disturbance at all. But when I turned my head, there was the other woman standing looking out to sea. Nothing had moved. It moved from out of the forest to come and stand by me. Her whole being breathed a stillness, a depth of attention, and a connectedness with earth that I had never experienced before. The original experience of humanity, not just of one tribe of people. This is a human experience where we use planet Earth or misuse planet Earth. She had a relationship with planet Earth They were one. If you're thinking that she's some strange person with long hair that's totally out of date, you would be quite wrong. She was a woman who was quite well known in local politics. Her son, who was with her, a 10-year-old son, had exactly the same qualities of relationship and stillness. But he played football, like everybody else in his class, and he argued about the exam results and so on. But he was awake to reality all around him and to the original wisdom that brought it all into existence. I'm dropping my voice, not intentionally, but automatically, with a sort of awe and respect for what the woman and her son taught me in the short time we walked along the coast and into the woods. It wasn't just that the boy seemed to notice every plant that was growing there and know their name and know how it grew, but it was part of him. It wasn't the earth out there. Now, that was my experience and powerful enough to last a lifetime. Relationship with planet Earth. Relationship with the source of all that exists. Relationship with the source of the cosmos that we're just beginning to see open. We're thinking now, of course, of the Webb telescope, space telescope, and what it is going to bring to us. If it can bring us, as it's supposed to do, back, what is it? 30 million, more, less years to the birth of the first stars. Relationship with the earth, the original reality. It's amazing that humanity can have woken up to the truth about what it means to be human, at least at this level, which isn't far enough. We are beginning to know who we are. We are the creation of the original wisdom, power. We've called it God by 1,000 names. And sometimes we turn God into a human being. No. This is the most magnificent gift that is opening up for us at this time of the danger of a world war using atomic bombs. At the same time, what is opening up is the possibility of really realizing who we are, what we are, the source from which we have come. So, there you are. 2 ways opened up on the open road of the next month of this spiritual journey through life. See, it wasn't information, no lecture, no conclusions, no rights and wrongs, just wake up to the innermost self that you are, that each one of us is. And look at the 2 challenges. The challenge of destruction for what? And the challenge of discovery for everything. That's where we are. And the decision isn't going to be made by one powerful leader. This is a gift and a challenge to each one of us. So I hope the month ahead is going to be a wonderfully creative experience for each one of us. And a suggestion again, that you don't keep this and your thoughts and the sharing that you may do with others, you don't keep it to yourself. Come on. Make sure you share it with somebody else. Make sure you point out not just the little I have pointed out that could be explored from this theme, where we have been blind and our eyes could now be opened. Sight for blindness, the innermost sight. Share it, share it. That's what we need, to share the richness of life and to move away from destruction to creation. Now, I hope you can close down at that point, but I just want to thank again Walter Pipic, who recorded this with great effort about 10 days ago, and having had some technical problems which couldn't be solved because he was away from home, he handed it over to Dieter, who very nobly once again picked up and tried to get something out to you this morning. And it's his working week as well, so we're doubly grateful to him. It's not only the work of recording this, but also of getting it sent round to some people like Tara and so on. I won't mention more because I may miss somebody out. But please, when they make the effort to send this out to you, you make the effort to share it with somebody else. So thank you for everyone who's been involved, and let's spread it out. And you know, sometimes I would like a bit of an answer. You know, somebody sort of says, I didn't really like that, or it would have been better if you cut that theme in half. It was too much for one helping, you know, that sort of thing. That would help too. Come on, let's just be more of a family and share. But thank you, and I look forward to hearing where the Aboriginal wisdom, the original wisdom and the power of stillness and listening has become alive in you.